I hear this one say, what the fuck's happening here? So I think they're speaking amongst themselves, you know. And then I hear the one replies, say, I'll keep incoming cool, bigger than that one, you know. I want Liverpool fan. Like, piss off. And I turn around and I see them doing signs and throwing zaps. I'm like, yo, this is real. And I start upping my pace and I'm jogging. Hi guys, thank you for tuning into our video. This is Anele.
And I am Michelle.
And we're grateful that you decided to tune in and watch us speak about cultural shocks that we experienced when we got to the UK.
But yeah, I just always love saying thank you so much for watching. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed. And for our growing little family, we're very grateful that you've decided to, just support our channel, which has been a very nice space for us. It's a very fun space, and we're growing as well and sharing these experiences, our stories, etc. And we hope that it's also positively impacting you. So yeah,
I hope you do enjoy. So like I said earlier, today we're going to be discussing cultural shocks that we got to experience when we left South Africa and arrived in the UK. So the first one is, well, Michelle wrote this.
Yes.
She wrote, you alright?
You're right.
Please explain.
You're
that,
right.
Michelle. What are you talking about?
That is how they greet you. That's how they say hello. You're right. So that for me was very strange. And I was just like, are they just checking if I'm fine? Like, am I okay? Or is there something that looks off on me? But I realized that that's a greeting. It was very interesting, very funny. You're right. The accent was like, oh, okay.
It's like, how you doing?
How you doing? Yeah.
What's up?
Sure. If you're in South Africa. Fair. Sure, fair. So you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was very interesting. But that's just something I was shocked by.
With me, I know when I'll greet them, or they'll greet me, you alright? Like, yeah, I'm fine. How about you? They just walk in.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just weird. It's like
no one really replies. It's like, oh, so I had to get used to that,
Yeah, no, it's not. They're not really asking you.
Yeah.
They're just like greeting you. It's like, hello.
Yeah.
And you just also say, oh, hello. Oh, you're right. What is the response? You're right.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
Clearly, I'm still getting used to it, but yeah.
All right. Then the next one was accents. I think with the accents, I think we didn't really have a problem with the accents here, with Mancunian accents.
Yeah, I didn't know that's what it's called.
Yeah, people from Manchester. You have a problem? Were there moments where you couldn't hear them?
I mean, it's different for sure. I know that when I had my interview, when my firm that hired me came over to South Africa to interview me, one of the guys, I think, was Irish, the HR manager, during the interview process and things, and his accent was very interesting. Even the things that he would say, and when he would name different locations and stuff in the UK, and I was just like, but I could understand him. So coming to Manchester, it wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
Well,
with me then, because I watched a whole lot of European football and English football,
of course,
it was very easy for me. And I remember when Michelle took me to Anfield for the first
Liverpool.
time. Yeah. So she's not talking about that. She struggled.
And that accent is...
I was speaking to the Uber driver and I didn't know where we were going. So I sat front seats with him and we're talking. And then I'm very excited to be in Liverpool. I'm speaking to a man from Liverpool. He's telling me about his family how he's Liverpool and his kids are Everton, all those things we're talking. And then we start speaking about the accent. Yeah, and he asked me, are you able to hear the Scouse accent? Like, yeah, because love of my life is Steven Gerrard. So yeah, yeah, I love Steven Gerrard since I was a kid. So I'd always listen to him, follow his interviews. And then he asked me, but can you hear Jamie Carragher? I'm like, yeah, I can hear Jamie Carragher. He said, if you can hear Carragher, then you can hear anyone in Liverpool.
But there's this video you showed me where that guy from, is it Top Gear or Top Gun? Like he's speaking to someone and he's not making any sense at all.
Oh yeah.
At all. I don't know if you still have that video.
I think he was speaking to an Irish guy. That was Jeremy Clarkson from that car show. Yeah.
That guy made no sense. Absolutely no sense.
Yeah. So for me, the toughest challenge I've ever had with accent was when I spoke to an Irish guy who's got the Liverpool accent, the Scouse accent. Oh, that was. Now I even told him afterwards, I'm like, man, this is the toughest discussion I've ever had with anyone because I can't hear much of what you're saying. And he kept laughing, but we had a really good experience as well, We had a really good experience with the guy. Said he's from Ireland, but he's been living in Liverpool. Yeah. So yeah, his accent had that Scouse accent, and we were, because Liverpool is not too far from Manchester, we did see some cheaper places in Liverpool. It's quite cheaper than Manchester. Manchester is a bit expensive because of the universities,
Yeah, and the students and the student life. And
So the houses, they were a bit cheaper. And Michelle told me, hey, I started looking at Liverpool.
I had a phase where I was considering us moving there and staying there because, with the efficient transport system, it was like, okay, this could actually work.
Yeah.
And, he loves Liverpool, when you're just trying to be an extra doting wife and supportive wife.
Yeah.
But he mentioned that probably our daughter would pick up that accent.
And then?
And no, you were the one who was like, no, we shouldn't move there. And I was like, yeah, probably not. He was trying to put it on me, but he was the one who was like, no, Amav will pick up that accent because she's going to pick up some sort of accent from here as we continue to stay here. So Manchester's fine. At least I'm happy with her picking up that accent. That's your mommy, not whatever that.
The Scouse accent.
I don't even know what that would be.
Paracetamol. Mommy, I need paracetamol. Yeah. But yeah, all right. That's your Scouse accent. For those who know it, you'll know it. It's no joke. It's a very, very strong accent, But they're very lovely people, the Scouse people, because I work there. And I've never had a single bad interaction with those people. They're very wonderful. I love them. I feel like part of them. And yes, I'm wearing my Liverpool socks and my Liverpool slippers, by the way.
Okay, next culture shock.
Next culture shock. You wrote your politeness.
Yeah, people here are very polite. I put that one there because I nearly feels like also people in South Africa are polite.
Yeah.
Reason why I disagree is that politeness as a woman in South Africa is very different to politeness here.
Yeah.
So as a man, he can't relate to that, obviously. But if you're a woman in South Africa, I stayed in CBD for like 4 years when I started working. And even after we got married, we still stayed there for a year.
Yeah, I know.
There's not much that can be said. That one is not a laughing matter. But, you'll just find men who just feel entitled to touch you, just grab you. And I don't see it as like a pretty privileged thing. It's okay because I'm pretty on muhle. Like that's why they just feel entitled to me and they can't compliment me from a distance, and then they feel the need to I've had instances where I've getting off the taxi and then a man feels entitled to touch my body or tap my bum, which is just, it's awful, and yes, maybe people can be kind and whatever, and also being Zimbabwean, in South Africa. I think when I was pursuing my driver's license, and then they see, because I don't think, it's not visibly clear that maybe, and also because I grew up in South Africa, my accent also doesn't give away that I'm Zimbabwean. But because now when I'm busy with documentation and I bring out whatever I'm bringing out, you get mistreatment for that. I've had mistreatment for that in South Africa with my license, and being tried to be embarrassed and things like that. It's just, so that's why I put politeness there, because here it's very different. Even if, let's say, a man fancies you from a distance, they won't do anything disrespectful. It'll just be a little staring and that's it. No one will just come up to me and do weird things like I've experienced in South Africa. And then people are just generally very kind, very sweet, especially if they see you with your child, they're kind. They'll let you sit down in the train and whatever. So really appreciate that, because in South Africa, when I was pregnant with Amava, I would stand in some of those queues and no one cared a damn. Which is not good. And I don't know if it was just me, because I know others. I think I've seen videos where people are like, oh, people in South Africa are very kind, are very this, are very that. And I'm just like, maybe it wasn't my experience. I don't want to paint it as if but that's why I put politeness there, because here people are super polite, and no one is discriminating me because I'm from Zimbabwe, or I was born Zimbabwean, or maybe because I'm coming from South Africa, so they assume I'm from South Africa. Well, I'm from South Africa, but no one is treating you differently because of that. And that's just refreshing, just to be here. We haven't experienced racism, thankfully. But yeah, people are just really kind, polite, well-mannered, which is just lovely to see, and also just great to raise our daughter in such an environment. It helps a lot.
Yeah. So speaking to your experience though, so you found that difficult experience because you were staying in the CBD. How about at church when we went to Lokshini, and also your experiences at school?
Well,
were people not polite there?
I think at church, I was treated relatively, I think it was okay. It wasn't bad. I wouldn't say it was bad. It was good. It was decent. I wouldn't say it was, in comparison to here, I would still say here's a bit more better. But yeah, church, I think when I moved to your church, I don't want to go into that. I did experience a lot more kindness and warmth, because I was attached to him. Probably, or like people were just kind. But yeah, I think those dynamics were not related to my gender or ethnicity or where I come from. It was just, the normal things that we can like I could speak to like my other South African female friends or whatever.
Yeah.
Where that was now like pretty normal. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fine. And I remember also an experience when I went to Zim for the first time with her. And you were the Home Affairs officer from South Africa's side. We were talking, and then he's asking me, what am I going to do? I'm like, going to visit my in-laws for the first time. Like, oh, you married someone from Zim? Yeah, and I'm excited, yeah. And he's like, why would you do that? Was there no woman in South Africa? I'm like, hey, this guy. And I told him there were no women in South Africa for me. This was the one I chose. Like, hey,
imagine.
Okay, man. And then he just stamped me, and then like the atmosphere just changed, Then I got to the Zim side. They were very welcoming, very loving. And yeah, it did hurt. I was very ashamed to be South African at that time,
Yeah, but I've told him stories. That one is a separate beast of its own. Yeah. Our experiences at the border, Bait Bridge as they call it.
Yeah,
my family and I have gone through some very traumatic things there that are not nice. But yeah, I mean, it even made me nervous to come to this country. Like, I would be like, oh, is like immigration going to be okay? Like, I just had such deep-rooted trauma. Like, it's just, that's the sad thing. It shouldn't be like that. I mean, we're African, like, it's just, I don't know. But anyway.
So with me, politeness has been the same. I think in South Africa, people were very polite to me. I was very polite to people as well. Maybe it's because I reciprocated it, or they reciprocated it. But yeah, even here, been very nice. What's surprising is even at the stadium, been very nice, because sometimes you just walk in there and you think hospitality, especially when the teams are not doing so well. But I know they've been very nice. I've had someone who called me a bellend. Bellend, you know, and I didn't even know what that was. So I asked my colleague, and then he laughs, like, bellend, you know, and I'm like, oh, okay. Those who understand.
We will not say anything further.
But nevertheless, that was we were blocking a path, you know, we weren't letting anyone down. So this guy was just really upset, telling me, he's been coming here for 25 years. Now all of a sudden we're telling him we can't go through here. He just called me a bellend. I was like, oh, all right. But yeah, apart from that, nothing really. All right. And then the next one is the football culture. Yeah, well, with me, I knew that it was very big here. It was very huge, and the rivalry was quite immense. But I didn't think it was this religious, you know, because in South Africa, if you're in KZN, which maybe the big team from KZN in the Premier League would be, let's say, Amazulu, Golden Arrows, or whichever ones, and you're wearing a Mamelodi Sundowns shirt, for instance, if that's what you support. No one's really bothered. And if people meet you there, they'll say something like, Sandawanda, or something. You know, if they're mocking you, let's say you're wearing Pirates, like Shem Pirates, those kind of things.
You can wear your shirt anyway.
Yeah. I used to jog. I used to exercise in the morning around 5 a.m. And one time it was raining. It was normally is raining, so I decided to put on my Liverpool jacket. It's not very thick, so I loved it because of that. As I'm passing these two men, old men, probably in their 50s. This one, they are talking. So as I pass, there's the Liverpool emblems right at the back. I hear this one say, "What the fuck's happening here?" So I think they're speaking amongst themselves, you know. And then I hear the one replies, say, I'll keep in coming cool, bigger than that one, you know. I'm a Liverpool fan. Piss off. And I turn around and I see them doing signs and throwing zaps. I'm like, yo, this is real. And I start upping my pace and I'm jogging. As I go around the corner, another one's like, what the hell?
So yeah, it's very insulting to have a Liverpool fan
that was the last
in
time
Manchester.
Last time I worried around Manchester, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, that to me was a bit of a shock. But, luckily nothing happened to me. Now working with these clubs as well, I do understand why, you know. And yeah, it was fresh from that 7-0 victory on 5th of March 2023 when we dumped United 7-0. So yeah, it made sense to me. Yeah.
Sure.
No football culture shocks for you?
Not really. I just support him, but it's not like it was a huge thing on my end. I mean, I see it. I can see that, okay, this is something that's very important here. Yeah. But I think as he was someone who followed it, I think he would notice it would be a shock to him, really. For me, it was like, oh, okay. Chilled. You know?
All right. Another one is diversity. I think I'll start with this one. I think we were quite shocked to see how diverse Manchester is, you know. Very, very shocked. Because obviously when you look at if you look at the races, there's a lot of white people, obviously, granted. It was very shocking to see a lot of Asians as well, you know. There are probably more Asians than there are black people. Yeah,
black people, you when they say that whole minority thing, you know, you'd watch shows and Americans would be the minority. Like, what's in Laban? What are they saying? What do they mean? You know, because in South Africa, black is the majority. Like,
overwhelming.
Black people everywhere. And here it's like it's not inverse. A thing. It's the inverse. White people everywhere, Asians everywhere. And then with black people, it's like, okay, they're there. It's not like they're non-existent. They're there, but it's not the majority anymore, which was very strange for me. Excuse me, initially, just going to work and just like, okay, walking around, seeing people, and just like hardly seeing any black people, which was like very different. Just so that, okay, I'm definitely in a different country.
Yeah.
I'm not in South Africa anymore.
It was quite a bit of a shock. But that's the country we're in.
Yep.
Yeah, and then, hey, Michelle, you're going to speak about this one first. The bland food. Yeah, I mean, I've had my bit where
he's gone off on the food in previous videos. Yeah, we've heard. We know how you feel. So yesterday, we decided just yesterday. Just yesterday. So today is what is the date today? It's the 29th of March. The 28th of March, we decided to be like, you know what, let's just try something, because now we've moved, we're in a different area. He's walked around, I've walked around, and we've seen a fish and chips. So we're like, no, let's try the fish and chips, because I knew the Brits are known for their fish and chips. Anyway, we tried it. We had it, and I was so busy at work. I'm just currently very busy with work, right? So Anile went out earlier with Amaro, and they took a walk. They went to go get the fish and chips, and he had wanted us to have it then. I was like, I have a lot to cover. Let's just have it for supper, And unfortunately, we're going to heat it up, because sometimes it's just better to have food when it's fresh and hot. But I just wanted to finish up work, and then we're going to enjoy it. It's now long weekend. Great. Watch a movie. Cheap meal, because we usually eat very healthy. And all of that. Guys.
Moral of the story.
Moral of the story.
He wasted 13 pounds.
He wasted his money, Shem. And I just remember, especially when I was pregnant with Amava, if I wasn't indulging a lot in Burger King, there was it wasn't called something fishy, Fishaways. Incredibly delicious, wonderful. It was like a treat. It wasn't cheap, but it was so yummy. Their sauce, there's I'm yet to experience something like that in this country where fish and chips is a thing. So that's just we've gone on the food and the spices and the lack of spices but really, like, it's just so disappointing. It's like they don't care. They just I think if we were to start a fast food something,
we should.
We really, honestly.
I built on the other day. Yo.
You mentioned that the whole jerky thing. You mentioned it in the video, one of our videos.
I didn't finish it. I gave it away at work.
Yeah.
And I'm giving it to. He's been staying here for over 20 years, so I gave him. He was so happy. I was like, yeah, it's so nice. I'm like, no, man. No, you don't know what you're talking about. I'll bring you biltong someday, and you'll get to taste proper biltong.
That's one thing in in Africa. Let me just say, our food, top tier. But anyway, next.
All right, then there's punctuality. With punctuality, we've left African time behind.
There's no such thing as African time here. We've explained the trains are on time. People are also on time at work. Just punctual. The only area that we said sadly is not adhering to punctuality still, even in the UK, is church. Hey, we need to do better. We need to do better as churches across the world.
It was bad. There was one time we got to a church. We were late, and we are usually very punctual. We were late because because we're aiming to get there at 9.
And getting ready with the child
we got there 10 past 9.
Yeah, we're like,
telling you, we waited for almost an hour
before the service started.
There were only like 3 people there, and they were busy as well. It wasn't ready. They were setting up the microphones, the instruments. And we just started singing there.
We did, and I was just thinking to myself, because already getting a mother to be settled in church is such a mission.
Yeah.
And here we are early already. We're like, we've already set ourselves back. How much? By the time her tolerance is this low, we've already started running out of tolerance when there's like no activity happening. We're like,
Yeah, no, that was sad to see.
Yeah, but in general, punctuality is a huge thing here, which is beautiful. It's good to be on time, to be punctual. It's a beautiful habit to have.
We love punctuality.
I hate it when we're not punctual.
Exactly.
It gets under my skin. It just sets the day up wrong.
Yeah. My students would know as well. I always tell them, rather come 10 minutes early than 10 minutes late. So, I appreciate that. Transport, when they say the train or the bus will arrive here 10:33, it's there.
It's there.
And they will even tell you what time it departs. If it departs 10:35.
If it's delayed, you'll know.
Yeah, if it's delayed even by 1 minute.
1 minute, they'll tell you that it's delayed by a minute or two.
Hey. In our trains, metro rail. They'll tell you, it's coming now, it's close. Close, and you'd wait 35 minutes, still nothing.
Nothing, and now your whole day is ruined. It's just a mess.
And the communication was very bad, it was terrible. Whereas here, the communication is very, very good, And so that's one thing we really, really appreciate. Yeah. And then it says here, lack of religion.
Is that our last one?
No, it's the second last one. Lack of religion. What were you saying when you were writing this?
Okay, I'm not going to say much on this, but I just feel like, I don't know if it's because really, maybe in Africa, we just go through so much that we realize our need for God. Whereas here, God is not a thing. Like right now, it's Easter weekend. I know in South Africa, I was mentioning it to him. In South Africa, in Africa in general, it's like a thing. We're going to church. They're going to church Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Here, I saw our neighbor cleaning the window. Busy cleaning the window. It's not a thing. I heard colleagues. I heard colleagues. When I was in on Wednesday in the office, I booked holiday. Like they're using it as a period to have an extended holiday because people here take their holidays very seriously, which is actually another culture shock, to be honest. Like holidays, you don't overwork here. No one is trying to kill themselves. They have a holiday now. They'll have a holiday in June, July, September, August, December, holiday. Yeah, but anyway, so but God is not like a huge thing, and that's one sad thing. That's, I guess, if you're, you can obviously you cultivate it in your home and you find churches. There are plenty of churches, of course. Not saying that, but there's not like that whole God culture, it's the people are just good people, but it's not like they're religious people. So if that's something that you really love, you're not gonna find in the UK. I don't know about other parts of the UK. Let me just say Manchester and not speak for the rest. But that's not something you're gonna find in Manchester.
Yeah, that's true. Because what you're speaking about in South Africa around these times, the ZCCs are going to Moria.
Traveling. People are like, be safe on the roads because there's activity on the roads.
Yeah, so all these people are talking. It's an event, and it's very, very let's say religious. People are speaking about what they will be doing throughout the Easters, and whereas it's just a holiday. It's just a holiday,
It's a long weekend.
And I remember also asking a friend of mine, asking her, she was asking me, why don't you come to shifts on Saturday? Like I know I go to church on Saturday, so the early kickoff on Saturday and those 3 o'clock kickoffs I can't make. But if it's later on, like from 5, I'm definitely there.
The sun is set.
Yeah, and she was like, "Oh, so is that gonna be like every Saturday or some Saturdays?" I'm like, "Every Saturday." Like, oh, and then I asked, "Which church do you go to?" Like, she couldn't remember the name. She says Church of England. I'm like, oh, like the Anglican. And then she asked another girl as well, you know.
They couldn't remember.
And they're like, they go to the same church. I'm like, oh, what's the name of the church? They couldn't remember, and they tell me, no, we honestly haven't been in like 3 years. Oh, all right. So yeah, it's not such a huge deal, you know.
Yeah,
and
you really have to fight to stay that way.
Yeah, and not that we're judging.
Yeah,
it was just a culture shock.
It's just like, oh, it was different.
Different, yeah. Whereas in Africa, even the Nigerian guys, when I speak to them as well, they also say that I know in Nigeria is also quite religious.
Africa is just that way.
And if you think of the Nigerian pastors in South Africa, by the way, quite a lot of them. So yeah, it was just really different. And the Africans that I find here as well, the one guy was telling me, a colleague as well, was like, hey, he's from Kenya. He was like, yeah, you know, you're inspiring me to also do what I used to do when I was younger. We used to go to church, so staying around here caused him not to go to church.
It's very easy to fall into that thing. But I think
because there are many events here. Yeah, sorry.
I was just saying it's very easy to fall into that trap. But anyway.
Yeah, the last one. Okay, the last one is the sunset and the sunrise. Those who are on my WhatsApp, you might have seen some status messages I once shared. How one time I was watching a match, and this was before I was working. It was around 9:30, but the sun still hadn't set, you know.
I think that's the thing in Cape Town, probably. Those who stay in Cape Town probably.
Yeah.
But it's very different here. It's like weird. You have to close the curtains. Otherwise, your mind is just like, it's 7 p.m. I'm about to put this baby to sleep in an hour, but it's just bright outside. Sure.
Yeah, it looks like it's 3 p.m.
Yeah.
You know, and then the inverse occurs when it's winter. You get out of the house. Let's say my shift starts at 4. I'm getting out at 3 o'clock.
It's dark.
It's dark.
You leave wherever you're leaving. It's dark.
It's dark. Yeah.
It's just dark. It's dark.
Like really dark. Like really dark. Like as if it's 8 o'clock for South Africans, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a very strange thing. It was a very shocking situation to find ourselves in. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you just adjust, really, to be honest. Just get used to it. Make sure you have your blackout curtains. Right now, it's 20 to 5. If it's definitely now a lot brighter that we're able to shoot with natural lighting. Yeah. But if we had shot this video in December under the same setup, it would have been dark. Would have already been like, flash. Where are the lights? Let's brighten up the area. But now, because we're now going to longer days, we can actually just shoot with natural lighting. So that was today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the culture shocks that we've experienced since moving to the UK. And if you're in the UK, share your own culture shocks down below. Or if you've traveled somewhere else, like if you're Dora the Explorer and you've been to other countries, what did you find as a culture shock? Let us know below. It's always interesting to be able to travel and see how other people live and how things are. It just broadens your mind and your perspective. And if you're going to be traveling soon or whatever, you also at least know what to expect if you're coming here. Or if you just know that you're going elsewhere, you're like, oh, okay, I can expect some sort of change, which is interesting. It's nice. But thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed. Again, please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Let's grow the family. Let's grow the channel. We'll see you in the next video.
Bye.
Bye.